Coming up on this episode of the Hitstreak.
Talk about your weaknesses. Talk about what where the challenges lie. You know, it may look like we're having a good time, and the veneer looks another way. But once you shatter that veneer, and the next generation will be able to pick up on that. They're going to identify it. If you're being a phony, they're going to know it.
You're right.
That's why I put those things out there. It's a generational legacy piece for me.
Most people either buy a cheap watch or they think that fine watches just aren't for them. Call sign watches live in a different conversation entirely. These are serious, precision-built American timepieces. But here's the thing. They weren't made for collectors to lock in a display case. They were made to be worn by pilots, by veterans, by the guy whose crew gave him a nickname that never went away. Everyone's got a call sign. And now you've got a watch that proves it. So let me ask you something. What's your call sign? Head on over to mycallsign.com/Hitstreak to find out. Here is how Dr. Aaron Pryor changed my life. I used to hide my smile, covering my mouth in photos, holding back in conversations, even avoiding big moments. I didn't realize how much it was holding me back until I got my brand new veneers at Pryor Family Dentistry. It's not just my teeth. It's my confidence, my energy, my entire life. Visit PryorFamilyDentistry.com to book a consultation. Your life-changing smile awaits. Blessings, folks. Welcome back to another episode of the Hitstreak. I'm your man, Nick Hyder. And folks, joining me back in the lab today, he was back, I don't even remember what episode it was. I have to go back and look, but it was in the old set. It's been at least a couple years. Folks, check it out. He is the founder of it'syourshow.co. He's the host of the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast. He's the founder of Jim McCarthy Voiceovers. I mean, literally, you've been listening to him on radio and in digital media everywhere for the better part of 3 decades. Back in the lab with old Nick today, my man, my buddy, Jim McCarthy. Jim, thanks for being here, Bubba.
Thanks for having me on again. Boy, that traffic, huh? My goodness. You got a lot going on out front.
It's real.
Yeah. It is real.
It's real. Well, man, it's always great to be around you and hang and everything else. I had a unbelievable time on your podcast a couple weeks ago. We were in there for a while.
It was. I mean, I'm kind of doing the Joe Rogan thing, you know, just have a conversation and see what comes out of it. If people want to listen to it, fantastic. You know, but otherwise you try and keep it engaging and compelling. And, you know, when the exit ramps start piling up, you take one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, dude, I've been doing this for 5 years. We've worked with a lot of people, and I've gone on a whole bunch of other people's shows. Dude, I'm just going to tell you, and this is no fluff. Like it's all the time you did in radio as a host, dude. You're level 10. It's top notch.
Thank you.
It's as good as it gets.
Appreciate it. I didn't always have the gift of gab, believe it or not.
No.
Yeah, I'm serious. I was actually envious in people in radio when I first started getting into it. I'm like, how do you just come up with BS like that, you know, to talk about? In these breaks, and they were front selling, back selling songs and stuff like that. Plus, we were a classic rock station. I mean, you know, there's a lot of history you can talk about in music, but I just didn't have the depth of knowledge in that music yet. I didn't have enough wisdom in life yet. It was all failure at that point. So,
gotcha.
You know,
well, before we started recording today, we were just kind of catching up, and you were mentioning. I mean, I mentioned a few things that you're doing. There's a lot more than that we're gonna mention here in just a second. But you were talking about life in your 50s, and as I turn the corner and I approach it myself, you got any notes for old Nick?
You still got a ways, man. You know, so enjoy where you are. You know, but I mean, it's just a number. And I honestly feel like I'm in my early 30s still. I always tell people in their 20s, we have a very young staff that works for us. I said a lot of life is like a roll of toilet paper. The more you get to the end, the faster it goes.
Yeah.
And I'm experiencing that. You know, I mean, it seems like yesterday I was your age.
Yep.
I'm serious. I mean, it feels like, man, it was just like yesterday.
Yeah.
But figuring out what the 50s looks like, what do I want to do? Because I call it the dichotomy between the have to years and the get to years. You know? We spend a lot of time in our have to years. Most people spend their entire lives in their have to years. They have to go to work. They have to do a menial job, and they're not doing exactly what their calling was. I'm kind of straddling that fence right now. I have to do the things we're doing in order to put food on the table, but I get to do. This is what I was meant to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and just to even prove what you just said, I mean, you work with people in phase one of their journey, and you work with people that are at the top of their journey. I'm talking top-rated podcasters, freaking world touring musicians, and all the likes and above. You were talking about our buddy Rich Redmond, and you guys are kicking off bringing his podcast back in a couple of days, which is exciting.
Yeah,
I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, well, as are we. It's been a minute. It took a little bit of a hiatus, but we'll come back strong as ever and see where it goes.
Man, that's what I'm talking about, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Well, so you do have. I wouldn't be doing everybody justice if we didn't tell. I mean, you got a lot going on, and you got your hands on a lot of, I just say audio video stuff. You know what I mean? So what else you guys have going on besides itchourshow.co, the voiceover stuff, which you were talking about that too, how it's even getting harder to do that kind of stuff these days.
It is, and not because physicality or anything like that. It's just that everybody and their mother has gotten into it in the past 10
me
years.
too.
Right, which is fine. I mean, the barrier of entry's come down. The equipment's less expensive. You can hang a mic in your closet and off you go, and you can audition for jobs and stuff like that. But I mean, it's you get what you can get, and you're grateful for it. And, that's something I'd like to do more of.
Yeah.
But you again, you stay grateful for what you have.
Well, it's so cool because I know even the production on this show, we used to have this big, awesome intro that you did.
Right.
So did Bradley. So did Grant Cardone. All of them had them at the top of their shows, amongst many others. And you were the guy that made those.
And that was just by, not by accident, but, hearing the production quality of the intros, knowing that my background in radio was to make really good, shiny audio pieces. That's kind of how I got into. I never wanted to get back into podcast production.
Yeah.
But I figured, well, I could supplement the game by creating the production pieces with my ability, with my talents. What I did in radio called imaging production, the stuff you hear between the songs. How many volumes of bombs, zaps, and lasers can you have?
Right.
And using those production parts and having the ear for it, being able to EQ the voiceover, things of that nature. I actually was able to just pitch myself as being the voice of their show, knowing full well that would get their attention. And it did. And it's, over time now, production intros of kind of do we really need them? Because the whole name of the game is I tell my clients now, dude, 5 seconds.
Yeah.
This is the Hitstreak podcast. Off you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
I still see when people are launching them, I still see a need maybe for a limited run of them or something like that, just because one, it proves production quality and value because it's going to be that good. But more importantly, it is hard to drive home what the show is about.
I think that could be done at the top of the show by the host.
Okay.
This is a podcast all about this. You guys know this, and today is no exception. You're into this kind of a thing. This guest does all these things. This is going to be a great episode for you to listen to.
Yeah, man. What's on that 5 seconds? What's the most powerful thing you can do in that 5 seconds?
Just name of the show, making sure that gets out there. A lot of people I want to put my entire bio in there. I'm like, dude. Within the first 2 listens, if you get somebody, they're going to be fast forwarding through that thing, if not turning it off.
Yeah.
Just make it real quick, say the name of the show, starts now, whatever, and then just get into the content, get into the meat and potatoes.
I like how even, I think I mentioned when I was at your spot that I had been binging old Family Matters episodes while I work out and stuff. Yeah. And guess what? I fast forward through the theme song. After a few episodes, I was like, one, I didn't remember it being that long. It's like 2 verses.
Dude, look at the streaming shows.
Yeah.
What does the little button say in the lower right? Skip intro.
Skip intro. Yeah. Podcast. Is that the next function of good podcasts?
You got the 15-second fast forward.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the challenge even with sponsorships now.
Yep.
I tend to use Catholic guilt for, I tell my clients, I'm like, look, if you enjoy what you're listening to, stick around, listen to the sponsor's message. They're the ones that are enabling us to do this.
That's right.
So, if you don't, understand, we fine, but understand if we go away, you kind of caused this. So
folks,
listen to the sponsors.
Hang with us with our sponsors today.
If you like what you're listening to, listen to the sponsors. They're helping fund it. You know,
that's right. It helps us out greatly. And you know who you are. I'm talking to you, right? So
don't hit the 15-second button.
That's right. That's right. And they're like, so we've been making our commercials like odd numbers, like 23 seconds.
Right. Because you don't have you don't have to stick to a clock like you did in radio.
That's it, man. That's right. Yeah. Well, that's a great little like all that time in radio. What's like radio made money. It still does. No. Maybe not as much as it did.
No.
But it did for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I feel like podcasting's kind of getting there. Right?
It is.
How do you feel about it?
I mean, podcasting is definitely part of the new media digital space for sure. It's one of the best sources to get all the different things that you see on social media, the short form clips. But I mean, it's a permission-based platform. Mm-hmm. People have to go out of their way. I get all sorts of questions. Well, how long should it be? How long can you make it and keep it compelling and interesting? Or they can always come back and pick up where they left off. Yeah. You know, I want to make it as long as a commute. I'm like, okay, what does that look like? You're in Nashville. A commute could be 10 minutes. It could be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, coming here took me an hour.
Yep.
And it said it was going to take 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. What does that kind of look like? So how long can you keep a topic compelling is the big answer. But to answer your question, radio was a forced down your throat medium because it was the only one. You literally, if a morning show did its job the right way, you felt like you were a part of the show. You felt like you knew the people. That's where podcasting can probably do much better. I'm not sure how many hosts are listening back to that. Do you listen to your every episode?
I do. Yeah, I do. I do. I still do.
Well, that's good.
Just because I feel like it's got to keep getting better.
Right.
Now, there was a time where I didn't. I stopped, and I went back and caught up. And now I do. I play every single I watch everything that goes out that we put out, period.
Yeah.
Whether it's on social media or anywhere.
And that's called air checking.
Yeah.
That's what we did in radio. The worst day was, you'd come in and a program director, hey, let's do an air check. Oh, crap.
Yeah.
So an air check was where a cassette would run in the back of the studio. Every time you popped the mic on, it would record the break. And if you wanted to be a good jock, a good on-air talent, you would take that tape and listen to it every single day and take notes and criticize and how can I improve. I'm not sure, Joe Rogan obviously being the exception, but I mean, there are times where I listen to him like, okay, dude, let the guest talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do I violate that? Absolutely. It's part of a good conversation. Mm-hmm. But podcasts are just bastions of what the best conversation can be. And also making people feel familiar with you. That's what radio did very well. They started going off the rails in 1997, when the Telecommunications Act happened.
Yeah.
And all the consolidation and all that stuff. So
I can still remember in the 90s, Jerry House was huge here.
Oh, massive.
My favorite was Carl P. Mayfield, though. And all his voices that he did, the skits and stuff. He was brilliant. He was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at, Rush Limbaugh. And the guy, I can't remember his name, but he did all the parody songs and all that stuff and spoof commercials for Rush. And they started working together. And Rush was different. He talked politics, but he was different. He wasn't stale.
Yeah, that's right.
And people liked him. They got to know him. But a lot of those types of people, Fred from the Howard Stern show was similar. He did all the voices and sound effects.
Yeah.
I think, in terms of, assessing the audience, what's the next generation really want? I think they're going to want more human.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over the next, half decade to a decade.
For sure.
Yeah. With the advent of an emergence of AI.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of people that just crave, okay, is this AI or is it, that's a lot of people are having trouble right now discerning between the two.
Dude, yeah, that's fact. I think I mentioned it on your show. I got called out where somebody said, hey, man, this is one of the teams like, this is a great video to do a reaction video to. And I got called out. I still don't know 100% know if it was AI or real, but everybody's like, that's AI. I'm like, maybe.
No.
I couldn't tell. I still don't know.
But are you even missing the intent of the video because you're trying to figure out if it's AI or not?
Now I am. When I wasn't in the beginning, it was literally a young boy crying at the casket of his father who had been killed in fighting for our country.
Yeah.
And whether it was AI or not, the message was real, and that's that was the ultimate thing. But a lot of people got hung up that it was AI, supposedly.
Manufactured emotional responses is what that might have been going for.
Yeah.
And when you have it's like, okay, one time I saw a video, I like owls, and this owl was massive. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at the size of this thing. So I show it to my family, and my kids are like, Dad, that's AI, it's fake. And I'm like, really? You feel like an ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But how do you know? Like,
but they knew.
Yeah.
They knew.
Yeah.
I mean, their BS meters are so sensitive.
Yeah.
It's the most cynical generation that's coming up right now. It really is. Because they're not going to know what's real.
Yeah.
That's really kind of sad.
There's so much, there is so much truth to that.
Yeah.
What do you, in the world of podcasting? So at one point in time, I was maybe naive enough to think, yeah, everybody's going to want to hear this.
Sure.
And boy, were we in for a harsh reality in the beginning. Mm-hmm. A lot of learning moments. What do you tell folks? Because paying attention to all the folks that you help launch their show and get them off the ground, they're still going.
Right.
And that's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big deal. How do you, when people come to you for this, to launch their show, how do you know if they're really in it for the right reasons or in it for the long haul, or how do you qualify folks for when they're wanting to do something like that?
Are you in this for the next 3 to 5 years? That's a question. And somebody, it's going to take that long. I said, look, you can come out of the gate and hockey stick immediately, depending on the topicality of what you're talking about. For example, I have a podcast that talks about collegiate and scholastic wrestling. I think he's on episode 15. He's already got 25,000 downloads audio, just in audio.
Wow.
And then on YouTube, he's crushing it for a brand new concept. He's got, I just had Randy Couture on. I'm like, dude, really?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When does he come to Nashville again? Maybe we can get him on some podcasts.
Yeah.
But those types of things still do happen, and a lot of that is figuring out what the niche is. What does the audience look like? For me, I knew going into a Middle Tennessee business podcast was going to have somewhat of a wide range. Is it going to be that compelling? How many people are really going to be interested in this? But I do it for myself. It's showing me as a practitioner of what I do. I went in with realistic expectations. But for most people that come to me and ask, how can I monetize this? Look, you can hang a shingle right out of the gate. Ask for advertisers.
Yeah.
Figure out what they'll pay for you.
Yeah.
Figure out what the market will bear.
Yeah.
You could totally do that. Frame it as a ground floor opportunity.
Yeah.
And, I never try and dissuade them from doing that. If you could find somebody to offset the production costs, then we can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let us produce the commercials for them. At the end of the day, it's a content play for them.
Yeah.
Whoa. Check this out. Some of the world's biggest success stories started with nothing. Just grit, hustle, and a story worth hearing. If you've got a story that people need to hear, this is your shot. If you've been through the fire and came out stronger, you belong on this show. Email management@nickhyder.com or comment or DM the word Hitstreak to apply. The Hitstreak is where rags to riches stories have been told, and the next one could be yours.
There's multiple ways people use the podcast. When I launched mine, it was like, well, everybody that I look up to and want to be one day had one. So I'm like, I might as well figure out why.
Yeah.
But then real quickly, it was like, all right, so it's all the relationships. It's all the people that I wanted to sit in a room with that really didn't have a reason to get them here. Gave me 2 hours, with them to build, to build a relationship and figure out what common threads we had and if there was anything that we could do together. And there was also some folks that was just cool to sit with them for 2 hours.
Yeah, pick their brain.
I've been a fan a few times on with the guests and whatnot, which is great. It was fun, and it's really cool when my wife and kid even get excited. You got who coming in? Can we come? Well, of course you can come. Right.
It's amazing to me how that and this is, I'm not sure, this is not a flex, but 30 years and seeing, especially in Vegas, the people that have come inside that building. We had 6 radio stations, so you saw pretty much everybody who came to town. We met it ran the gamut from Queen Latifah to Danny Trejo, Snoop Dogg, the cast before. What was My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yeah.
You remember how big of a movie that was?
It was, yeah.
But before it came out, I'm sitting there in my production studio and I see this ragtag bunch of people walk down to our hot talk radio station to do an interview. And it's like they're going to the lowest rated radio station that we had at the moment, one of my stations that I produced for. And, oh, that's John Corbin. I'm like, oh, the actor, the guy from Sex and the City? You're like, oh, okay, cool. And he was like, had this long hair and this giant beard and everything. And I'm going, oh, what are they doing? Oh, that's some movie. What's it called? Something about a Greek wedding. I'm like, oh, cool.
Wow.
A couple months later,
Yeah.
it's the biggest movie on earth.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I haven't really been starstruck all that much. We just had Trace Adkins in last week for another podcast that I produce.
Mm-hmm.
And, he comes in the house. Hey, come on in, man. How you doing? I'm Jim. Hey, I'm Trace.
Yeah.
And he sits down and we start shooting the breeze and the posts show up and we said we did a 3-hour podcast with him. Just like pull the string and let him go.
Yeah.
But you realize these people put their pants on one leg at a time like the rest of us.
For sure.
Some just make a lot more money.
Yep.
Or are better known. But after a while, I think they appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I get the whole notion of like, oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of who I was really starstruck by recently.
The biggest one for me was Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC.
Yeah.
Who was just the coolest dude ever. And still, when we text, even today, immediate response. Super, super awesome, nice guy. I remember my wife was really excited about that one. That was a big deal. That was in our heyday.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the biggest acts on earth when we were coming up.
Well, did we ever talk about on our episode what the guilty pleasure admittance was? Did we ever talk about that?
No.
Yeah, that's like my guilty pleasure is like I'm like a secret fan of the Backstreet Boys.
Dude, I love the Backstreet Boys.
I know.
I'm not afraid to say it.
No man in his right mind back in the day would admit that. But
That's
I'm like,
right.
I'm 50. What the hell?
That's right. Hey, man, while we're at it, if we're making confessions, I like Nickelback too.
The funny thing is that you know what happens when you play a Nickelback record backwards?
No.
It's like you hear the devil, but you know what happens when you play it forward? You hear Nickelback.
That's
I'm just gonna do a Norman Lear, a Norman guy from Three's Company, the Mr. Furley, not Mr. Furley,
Mr. Roper.
Mr. Roper looked to the camera.
Yeah.
There you go. That's an old reference, Three's Company, right there.
Yeah, it is. That may be what I stream next when I'm working out because I used to love those.
But who did you really like? Did you fangirl over that you had on your show or ever met? Was it Chris Kirkpatrick?
Yeah, he would probably be like. It was probably like when he walked in, it was like I'm looking at somebody that you never really thought you'd ever see face to face. Everybody else, whether they were the business people or the Super Bowl champs or the baseball MVPs or whatever else, they were just normal people, just like you said. When Chris walked in, it was a little bit different. There was an aura. There was just kind of an aura about it. And but again, maybe I put that there just because again I was such a huge fan of those guys. When they were in their heyday and whatnot. And it's so sad because, like, one of these days, maybe all 5 of them won't be here. And, and it's like, are they ever going to come back and do something one more time?
Well, that's true.
I get why they didn't, but, like, even when it was 2000, 2001, the last time that Michael played with his brothers, the Jackson 5 at that when they did the collaboration with all the pop artists and everything.
Yeah.
What if that didn't happen? And then not long ago after that he was gone.
Right.
So like I feel like the break that those guys took has been great, but like man, like time ain't on everybody's side anymore. Someone's getting up there.
And that's the thing is like the people I would fangirl over are dead.
Yeah.
Eddie Van Halen, Neil Peart. Neil Peart, like he'd be one of those people that I have a feeling that they always say don't meet your heroes.
Yeah. He'd
be one of those people that would be like, yeah, I kind of regret meeting you. Alex Van Halen, I'd like to meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he might, based on some of the things you hear, and I read his book with Brothers, and he didn't talk about Sammy or those years at all. And it's like, dude, what? Why, man?
Yeah.
Why? He was a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
You're just gonna pretend he doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's gonna send a signal.
Yeah.
And the rest of your fandom's gonna be like, dude, why would you do that?
I agree. Yeah.
So there's, even at his age, in his early 70s, he's still holding on to that vitriol, that grudge. And it's like, someone needs to tell that guy, a grudge is like a double-edged sword with the sharpest part of it pointed towards you.
Yeah. That's right.
You're drinking the poison expecting the other person to die.
And, when you go through a divorce, the kids are who are always affected the most if you got them, right? So, and that's kind of what it feels like. I feel like the fans are the kids when people go through a divorce. And it's just sloppy and dirty, man.
Yeah, and it's like, well, this is part of our business, and it's none of the fans. But dude, you can't say that. You're a public figure. This is the career you pursued. This is part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
You got paid gobs of money over several decades and have a life millions of people would have died for, would have loved to have had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the sacrifices, pal. That's what comes with it. But I mean, in terms of experiences of I did fangirl over meeting Naomi Judd.
Okay.
And that was by proxy. I was not even in radio. I was in the car business. So I was at Mercedes-Benz of Nashville and out there in Cool Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a beautiful day. We had the doors open. I had the office that was on the side of the wall, on the outside wall of the dealership. And typically when you had people walk in with animals or something like that or a dog, we didn't frown upon it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Typically they were on a leash. So I'm sitting there minding my own business, on the computer, looking up customers to call, and my peripheral, I see a dog walking in without a leash. And I'm like, you got to be freaking, really, dude? Come on. Just put him on a leash at least. So this woman follows the dog in, and she stops right in front of my desk, turns and looks at me, and she goes, I want to see some trucks. And I'm looking at her going, gosh, you look familiar.
Yeah.
You're somebody. And she walks over. I said, okay, well, we don't really have like used trucks. We have used trucks. SUVs? Yes, SUVs. Okay. My name's Ashley. I'm like, that's who you are. Cool. All right, here we go. And then in strolls in Naomi and her husband at the time. So I'm like, oh, it's a family thing. Okay, here we go. And again, because of my radio background, I'm like, all right, here we are. Treat them like normal people.
Yeah.
And everybody in the dealership's like, who that is? I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
We got this.
I've dealt with this before.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like, getting in a car at a test drive with them.
Mm-hmm.
And Ashley was driving. That's all I'll say about her. Naomi, on the other hand, what a sweetheart.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
Connecticut. What brought you to Tennessee? Radio. Oh, where'd you work for? Constantly asking me questions.
Yeah. It's so
like
cool.
I was being interviewed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I get it now. That stuck in my mind, especially when it came to podcast interviews.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But man, what an experience.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Growing up, you may or may not know this. My dad, my whole time as a kid, was in the music business. He had a publishing company. Did really well. Did all of Aaron Tippin stuff. 1982, Randy Travis was his song. He had a good run doing that. So as a kid, when I didn't have anywhere to go after school, I went to Hillsborough High School. Yeah. Music Row's right around the corner. Most days after school, if we weren't doing sports, that's where I went and sat until it was time to go home. But I also got to sit in on all the demos and hang out with all the Paul Lyman, Eddie Bayers, and all those great drummers of the 90s country and all that stuff. And it was so cool. So I was around music people all the time. We were always going to number one parties and Music City Tonight with Crook and Chase and all that kind of stuff back in the day. So it's the music. I was grew up around it and the music stuff around it. But like back then, radio was a huge part.
Massive.
I mean, it was a huge. As a matter of fact, as local businesses, most like local radio was where we even advertised. Nightclubs, all the promotions and everything else going on with that. And in the last 20 years, it's all different.
It is. It's all become, where did the attention go on your phone?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because radio still has life left.
Mm-hmm.
Power goes out. Your phones die. You can't charge them. You still have radio. Radio still is a live and local medium that has a lot of legs that these companies they can't figure out how to pivot it.
There's still something too. I love, my son being in music and everything. I love turning on, we'll get off of Sirius XM for a minute and go to 106.7 or 97.9 or 103.3. And dude, the bottom end on that stuff is just massive compared to the compressed streaming stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all the processing it goes through before it leaves the stick is quite staggering.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But it does. And it's kind of cool. I don't know. So let me ask you this. I didn't know I was going to go there. But so I've been seeing like on my TikTok and my Instagram, you hear how like they're tuning the music to different hertz frequencies and one, some of them will cause more stress than others. What do you make? Is that what I'm hearing in FM versus digital radio and stuff like that? I don't know if
they're manipulating the actual frequencies. This is the first I'm hearing about it.
I'll send it to you next time one pops up on my feed. Where it's same song, and usually they use something like Ambrosia or something that's a classic.
Right.
And they'll say, here it is, here's what you hear, and this is the way that it should be. It's tuned down, I think, just barely, and you can totally hear a difference when you listen for it.
So they're actually scaling the root note down?
The hertz frequency, whatever that is.
Oh, really?
I don't know enough about it, but it's a little bit of a lower, less brassy, higher-end sound. It's almost like they dialed back the mids.
So they're re-EQing it.
Yes.
So they're putting a little bit more bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, bass can be soothing.
Yeah.
My wife and I were having this conversation. She's like, I really liked it when we went and saw Seven Dust. And I was like, really? Yeah. Seven Dust?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it was the bass tones that they had. It's like, I'm like, oh, really? And she's like, not because of that. And I said, I said, okay. Why? She says because the bass, they were just soothing. They're calming. And, I remember that about it.
Yeah.
I kind of remember that. I mean, it was a drop D tuning, which a drop D is typical, like with Slayer and like satanic music.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what those guys did.
That's right.
In the day, so.
I know we talked about this on the first time you came on the show. One of my favorite movies till to this day is Private Parts.
Yeah.
Which it's like the only radio movie ever made, is it not? But where it's about radio, really?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There might have been another one, but not as big as that one.
It was so good.
Yeah.
When you were talking about that, I love that movie.
The ending of it's kind of like fizzles out. But I mean, telling the story of his ascension is pretty cool to see. And I use a lot of, even with coaching podcast clients, the whole notion of what made him is his commitment to just being himself and asking the question, taking the filter off, and asking questions that everybody's wondering about.
Yep. Is he, so regardless of how you feel about his political or anything else, is he the GOAT?
I would say so. He's definitely one of the top 5 interviewers this country, like show host and interviewers our recent generations has ever seen.
I love him. I don't agree with half of what he says, but I love him still.
He's become everything that he was against.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. A little bit, yeah. But there's still nothing like it when he brings the musical acts in and he gets into performance studio.
Yeah.
That's still one of the greatest things on air today, in my opinion. Speaking of, he had Sammy and the boys in there not long ago, which was great. He had Huey Lewis, who's not touring anymore, I don't think, and that was freaking killer.
Yeah. We had Huey on Rich's show.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, man.
What a storyteller.
I would have fanboyed out on that.
Really?
I'm a huge Huey fan.
Yep.
Huge Huey fan.
I played in a tribute band this time last year, Huey tribute band.
Dude, that's so cool.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, mostly because you had so many of I had Chris Rodriguez on guitar, who played with Keith Urban for a number of decades.
Yeah.
Steve Nieves on sax, who tours with Jim Messina.
Yeah.
And what a fantastic sax player. My God.
That's right.
So, and it's like, all you can do, because I was shaking off rust to get to that point where we played the City Winery, and we played a place out in North Atlanta.
City Winery, that's real.
Yeah.
That's a real venue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
What was it about? So you would know this because I've thought this a million times. When showing my son the greats as he's coming up, making sure he knows the history of music and all the people that got us to where we're at today. And Huey Lewis was a big part of that list, that song list that we made.
Yeah.
He was like, what style of music are they, Dad? And I was like, it's called cool.
They're mainly rock, but every album had like an oldies.
Yeah, doo-wop.
Every doo-wop, but every album had a country song, country-esque.
Yep.
So, you had a lot of shuffles on the snare, a whole lot of loving, dude.
Yep.
It's a lot of shuffles. Nobody does shuffles anymore.
They don't. Billy Joel was kind of like that. It was like you didn't, one song might sound like the Beatles, and then, they really weren't caged into any type of specific genre. It was just cool.
Their sonic fingerprint went all over the place.
Man.
It was so wide.
And they just, in their suits and the sunglasses and just, They just looked cool.
Yep.
They just looked cool.
Oh yeah. And Bill Gibson as a drummer doesn't get enough due. And it's funny.
Facts.
Have you ever go to the Music City Drum Show? Coming up in July.
Okay.
I think it's their 6th or 7th year.
We're usually on a ball field, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think we're on a ball field.
But if you get a chance, it's going to be less loud this year. They're going to actually have a lot more of the clinic space separated from the onslaught of the cacophony of everybody playing the drums at the same time, which is normally what you hear. But you'll see the who's who of anybody walking around. I mean, Zorro, Greg Bissonette was there last year, just kind of hanging out with everybody.
I got to take my boy.
Yeah, because I mean, Bill Gibson showed up because he was doing something for Yamaha there, and then somebody had mentioned that. I'm like, Greg's here. Okay, cool. But somebody mentioned Bill Gibson. I'm like, where'd he go? So he's down over here, and I chased him down. I said, not want to germ you. I said, but I need to tell you, I actually played in a band that played your music, and I said, dude, massive props to you.
Yeah.
That is not easy music.
Yeah.
And I shook his hand. I said, you mind if we get a picture? We took a picture, and I said, okay, I'll leave you alone. Go back to your conversation. If I see you again and you want to talk more, I'm here. We're in that booth over there.
Yeah.
So
he was, I mean, just so solid.
And a good singer. Sang backup. The dude could do a Texas shuffle like no one's business.
Are you ready to take your brand digital? At HitLab Creative, we don't just make content. We build your digital foundation from the ground up. So whether you're launching a podcast, creating scroll-stopping social media content, or building a website that actually converts, we connect all the dots. Visit hitlabstudio.com/studio-time and let's build something that lasts. Because the HitLab is where digital strategy meets data-driven content creation.
It's so wild how much drumming has changed. What's the guy that's so viral online? That's the fastest human on earth with his feet and hands.
Estepario or something?
Yeah. That guy's insane.
He's insane, but and
is he even real? Is he a robot?
Maybe he's AI. It's a legitimate question.
Dude.
But a lot of those guys that are like, it's always like everyone talked about when Tyson was the champ.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but there's somebody that's like in a jungle somewhere. They probably whoop him.
Yeah.
But now all those people can get some airtime.
Yeah. That's right.
You're starting to see some talent coming out of the woodwork. That's like controversial topic. Everyone talks about Neil. I say Neil Peart is the people's drummer.
Yeah.
Right. Was the people's drummer. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
But he, to me, like, yes, he did a lot for my playability. My skill level went from here to here when I started listening to them and started emulating everything he did. But over time, that leads to the Dave Weckels, the Carter Beaufords. I mean, these guys were just beasts on the kit.
Yep.
And they could play funk and all the different styles of music like nobody's business. Rich, he doesn't get enough due.
Correct.
His skill set is so wide. He could play big band with the best of them.
Yep.
He could play jazz. He could play funk. He could play fusion. If he really puts his mind to it and shakes off the rust, I'm sure he could do a lot of prog, that kind of stuff. But when you get introduced to all these different levels of drummers and the things you start gleaning from them, Neil just seems like he's the people's drummer, the common man's drummer.
Yep.
And my brother was asking me, he's like, would you want to take that seat? I said, hell no.
That's right.
Hell no.
That's right.
I said, dude, I can't play like he can. I said, but he was a stiff player.
Yes.
When it comes down to it. Mm-hmm. You remember the Burning for Buddy series that he did?
Oh, yeah.
He put that on. He was with Kathy Rich and everything back in the day. So layman's, Buddy Rich was I would say a household name.
Yes.
And, as a tribute to Buddy, Neil Peart put on a whole concert with all these different drummers paying tribute to Buddy Rich.
Yeah.
And,
I remember that.
Yeah. But when you have the Greg Bissonettes and Weckels and Caliutas and those guys that are just jazz guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, Bissonette spent time at the 1 o'clock lab band at North Texas Tech University, for crying out loud. Mm-hmm. That is, Neil didn't do that.
Right.
So when he was trying to play like Spang, Spangalang, Spangalang and lead a big band, it was like, gee. But you see Bissonette up there, the dude can freaking play and he can lead a band that size.
That's right.
So, I mean, yeah, again, controversial. Nothing against the guy. I just think he's kind of the common fan drummer. Dan Mandis. You know Dan Mandis is?
No, I don't know Dan.
99.7 WTN.
Oh, yeah.
He's a talk show host. He came on one of the podcasts I produce, and he threw a coaster at me when I said that.
Oh.
I said, when Annika sits down, I said, I'm worried about her showing him up. And he threw it. He's like, how dare you say that? I'm like, dude, I get it.
Yeah.
I said, but she's good.
That's right.
She is really good.
That's right.
I said, that was a smart move by Getty and Alex.
Man, there's, it's cool to see with all the outlets and new media, the drummers are getting some love nowadays. They're not just tucked into the back.
No.
And you're tapping your foot to them anymore.
I'm happy that Annika got that seat, and I hope I'm saying her name right, because I think it's going to inspire a lot of girls to get into drumming. I would really like to see that.
I found out about a girl. I told my boy about it. And he was like, yeah, you didn't know about that? There's a rock band called Skillet.
Yeah.
The girl drummer, that her voice, gosh, she can sing.
Dude, singing and playing?
Yeah. And her voice is next level. It's intoxicating almost.
Yeah, and she's playing.
Yes, and she plays great. Mm-hmm. And that stuff's not easy either. It's complicated. And she's hitting the hell out of those drums.
Yep. Yeah. A
Hitting
lot of
the
that.
hell out of them.
I don't know if that's the case. I'm joking.
That's right.
But I mean, like Dean Castronovo
Yeah.
from Journey.
Yep.
Have you ever heard him sing?
Dude, he's as good as Steve Perry all day long.
I mean, right?
Yes. And he was with Generation Radio for a while with those guys, that super group.
Oh my god.
For a minute. Yeah. Yeah, Dean. I knew about for some reason, Dean was the last drummer I knew that Journey had. Mm-hmm. And then I remember I saw a clip of him and I was like, and I heard him sing and it was like, that's an angel.
I know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and he's playing.
Yes. And he plays his ass off with a big old kit.
Okay, so you're a drummer.
Yeah.
Does it bother you? I don't know if we talked about this in the episode. When you see, Don't Stop Believin', iconic song.
Yep.
There's a pattern to that drum part.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to stick to it.
You have to.
Drives me nuts when I see drummers around here.
There's certain songs and arrangements of songs that if you don't play them exactly right, the song's not the same. It's not a cover anymore. It's something else.
You're milking it.
Yeah.
You're applying your own little flavoring to it.
It's every bit as important as like the guitar solo in Hotel California. Like if you change that, it's not the same song.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Or any Van Halen song.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. That's right. As a matter of fact, with my son a couple years ago, he would always have a couple recitals a year and so on and so forth. And the Don't Stop Believin', that was one of the grooves that he had to master, and it's way more complicated than you realize until you get in there and try to do it.
Well, as you get older and you listen to older music, classic rock, anything like that. Mm-hmm. My latest flavor du jour. My brother's he's in two tribute bands, a Journey tribute band and a Bob Seger tribute band.
Oh, snap. So
I'm like, I don't give Bob Seger enough due. So I'm like, I put on a Bob Seger playlist, and a lot of the stuff that I'm like, he's actually. Why it took me this long to appreciate his music?
Yeah.
We played him on the station where I started. I just couldn't care less. You listen to Hollywood Nights.
Yeah.
That song is a flippin' workout.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is.
And it's I think it was a local drummer here. His name escapes me, but he played for Bob Seger for probably 2 decades. Mm. And we asked him I think it was on Rich's show. I said, what about Hollywood Nights? He's like, oh. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, that's one that if it were to leave the set, I'd be okay with that. I'm like, really?
Yeah. It's that challenging.
Oh, my gosh.
It's that challenging.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff, there's a huge, the yacht rock is back, which I love. Mm-hmm. I love yacht rock. Yep. And that stuff's way more complicated than you even think about. And my son, it's cool reliving all these great bands, these great songs with him. Mm-hmm. Even the key changes, like Earth, Wind and Fire was like just epic, man. And getting to know them again and reintroduce them and so on and so forth.
They're playing at First Bank soon, I think.
I heard that. Yeah. I heard that. I've never seen them
live
before.
I'll go.
I hadn't seen them live before, dude. That we might need to look into that.
Yeah.
That would be freaking cool.
Yeah. We saw the Doobie Brothers. Somebody had extra tickets. My wife and I are like, all right, let's go.
So good, yeah.
What a show.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Their China Grove still hits.
Yeah.
Still hits.
It does. The harmonies, everything.
That's right. I'm telling you, man. I love it. So, I promised everybody we were going to talk about some other stuff too. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll make the switch back.
Tangents.
Holy cow! But I mean, well, my cup's filled today. That was cool. I don't get to talk shop like this very often, man. So that was kind of neat, man. That's
That's the fun thing about podcasts. You can go down rabbit trails.
Absolutely,
Rabbit holes.
Absolutely. Well, so man, like the last time I was at your space, you got an awesome spot in Thompson Station.
Thank you.
The last time I was there, the front room was full of these amazingly beautiful like lights. They were just, the whole room was blinking, flashing, and you're like, yeah, dude, that's a new car wash right there that you're looking at in the seat without the washing part.
Right.
So you guys are, I would consider you experts in lighting, and all the different types. The industry has changed drastically over the last, I guess, has it been a couple decades?
I'd say the last decade.
Last decade?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, walk me through. I have no idea exactly what you guys, I didn't stay relevant in it. I was in it for a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't last long.
Yeah.
How have you guys stayed relevant in it? What's all the stuff you're doing with that stuff right these days?
A lot of it's just listening to the market. I always I came up with the concept or the saying a couple years ago. Sometimes the market will just tell you where to go. We got into it just doing commercial LED lighting transitions.
Yeah.
From old school traditional lighting to new LED technology. And eventually we had a car wash owner that said, "Oh, that's great, but can you make them change color?" Because that industry was starting to get more into of an experiential sales pitch, if you will, especially to justify the subscriptions that they were doing. So, it was a keeping up with the Joneses type of race to innovate their tunnels and stuff like that. So now we're seeing the self-serve, as you pull in, you take the thing off the wall, you do it yourself. And IBA space, which is called an in-bay automatic. You, let's say Home Depot in Cool Springs has got an IBA. You pull your car in, the thing goes around you. The little machine goes forward and back. That's called an in-bay automatic. So now all these owners are wanting to differentiate their buildings with lighting. So we're seeing a lot of that space really start to come out of the woodwork. The express tunnels where you get onto the conveyor and it pulls you through, that's kind of falling off because I think their profit margins are getting squeezed right now. So,
man, a funny story about that. There's the Jeep that I drove that my son now drives. There was only one car wash in town that you didn't have to do it yourself, and it was the one in Nolensville, which is the roll where you get on there and it rolls you through.
Is that wash and roll?
The tires would fit. What's that?
Was it wash and roll? Is that the name? That may be
no, it's something three. It has to do with the zip code in Nolensville.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about those guys. Yep.
And so we went there, and but then when I got the Tesla, I didn't know. So the first thing is, they're like, put it neutral, and I was like, where the hell is neutral on this thing? There's drive reverse. I didn't know there was a car wash mode. Like I was totally unprepared, and that thing, I'm in it, and it's trying to pull me, and I thought, oh my gosh, this thing's gonna collapse on top of us. This is terrible. I remember I just happened to I was scrolling, and I looked up, and it was like God spoke to me on the top of the where the dome lights are. It lit up, and that's where the gears are. Up there. Now, there's a car wash mode that I found later that I didn't know about. Would have been very helpful.
Nice to know.
But yeah, I was like, there's an end. So I hit it, and it took us through. But yeah, I thought I was about to destroy that car wash and my car and everything in it.
Did you buy the Tesla brand new?
Yeah.
So from Cool Springs? And no one showed you? That drives me nuts.
They did. It was... Yeah, and they should have. It is their fault. That's right.
Right.
You're right. They should have. They should have prepared me.
Yeah.
It was... I got to say, buying that car was the best experience buying a car ever, though.
They've really refined it and streamlined it for sure.
And there's and I made fun of electric cars until I had one, and I don't want another one.
I know, my business partner too.
Like I love it. I love my Tesla.
I had the 4xe Jeep Wrangler for a number of years. I just got it. It was a good car.
Yeah.
But I just got tired of the depreciation. I mean, it's such tremendous depreciation.
Yeah.
And then the recalls on it were just through they still are.
Yeah.
Through the roof.
Yeah. And at the time, until I had the Tesla, the Jeep was by far the favorite vehicle I've ever had.
Yeah. Just gas mileage on those things are beasts.
They are. And as a kid, I always wanted one, and that was the first one I ever had, and I drove it and gave it to Ethan when he turned 16.
Yeah.
Replaced it with a Tesla. I was just kind of curious, and it was. But putting everything through the business, it just made a lot of sense financially to do it that way. It was great to have for when people come in town to skirt around in when they need to or whatnot. Dude, I love that freaking car. It does everything.
Yeah.
It does everything. And now I get pissed. We have a 6-figure Yukon sitting in the driveway that I despise driving to this day.
Trade it in.
Man, like it's wild, but I do love that. So you guys have Teslas too?
My business partner has one. Well, both of my business partners have one. They both have Model Ys. I've always said, like when I sold Mercedes, I would own one someday. So now I own one. But it's like, I've driven so many of them over the years that I've kind of scratched that itch. And there are other Mercedes models I would still like to own, but definitely Tesla's in the next.
I customized a Model 3, which for the bang for the buck, it does a lot, and it's massive in there. It has so much room. It does everything. But a matte black plaid Model S that's the one that I'm gonna get next. That's gonna be my baby for a little bit because the Model 3, everybody drives that sucker.
Yeah.
Like it's.
You don't see too many Model S's around.
No,
nor in Model X's.
That's right, and I love the Model S. I just think it's a sexy looking car.
Well, that's what it spells out.
That's right.
Did you ever see that?
That's
Model
exactly
3,
right.
X and Y, and S.
Yeah. I mean, there just some fun. So you may be able to. These guys may or may not know that. So all the little Easter eggs inside of a Tesla.
Yes.
All right. So
make sure you go over them. You buy a Tesla, make sure they deliver the vehicle properly.
That's right. I'm still figuring some stuff out. Like, in voice command, I don't utilize it enough, but you can operate the whole thing and never touch anything.
Well, I mean, did you get the self-drive and all that stuff? Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I use it I use it pretty much if we're in the car, I'm not driving.
At what point do you just trust the car? Did it take about a month?
Maybe that long.
Really?
Maybe it may not have been that long. So what I learned was, all the new roundabouts we got in town. So if you want to know legally how you should be driving, the Tesla does it. I didn't know you were supposed to use a blinker in the roundabouts.
Oh.
I didn't know that until the Tesla did it for me.
To be honest, a lot of people in Tennessee don't really realize they have a blinker. So
that's that's right. That's right. Well, I started using it immediately, and now I don't even. I mean, I'm not paying attention too good. if I'm being honest.
I mean, for me, I like adaptive cruise control. I think that's a wonderful invention.
It is.
I don't mind steering the car.
Yeah.
I mean, on the way here, sitting in the traffic, I'm like, what am I complaining about? I'm in air conditioning. It's a comfortable car. I have brake hold. I don't have to my foot on the brake.
Yeah.
I just go shh, and it holds the car. For those of you in a Mercedes, that a lot of people, that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
All these cars have such fabulous technology, and the salespeople could really be making an indelible impression by just showing them all these cool features.
Yeah.
You know how many people I after I got out of the car business and I'd see them drive a Mercedes, hey, how do you like your brake hold? Brake what? Oh, let me show you what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, you never showed me. Yeah, of course you didn't.
Yeah.
Most people either buy a cheap watch or they think fine watches just aren't for them. It's almost like that world just wasn't made for them. Call sign watches live in a different conversation entirely. These are serious, precision-built American timepieces. But here's the thing that separates call sign from everything else at this level. They weren't made for collectors to lock in a display case and admire from a distance. They were made to be worn. On the wrist, in the field, in the cockpit, at the table, literally everywhere life actually happens. By pilots who need to know what time it is in 2 time zones without thinking twice. By veterans who've earned every call out that they ever got. By the guy whose crew gave him a nickname 20 years ago that never went away because it didn't need to. Here's what I want you to understand. A call sign isn't a title that you give yourself. It's the name you get when the people around you decide they know what you're made of. Every single one of us has had that moment. Most of us have a name that's even followed us out of it. Now, you've got a watch that proves it. What? You don't believe me? That's no problem. Head on over to mycallsign.com/Hitstreak.
The voice commands with the Tesla, probably and Elon's got a great sense of humor. So my son and I's favorite, we obviously love the whoopee cushion feature. There's nothing better than, sitting at the Publix parking lot and just hitting that sucker's little play outside, it'll play outside the car, and watching wives hit their husbands and stuff because they thought he passed gas. And it's literally called emissions in the app in the car. That's what it's called, emissions.
Nice.
But so there's a lot of voice commands, like the charging port. So for the longest time, I was walking up and tapping it for it to open. I didn't know the button on the charger at home would open that. But also the voice command is open butthole.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Opens up the charging port.
This is what makes a trillionaire.
That's right. That's right.
But it's a little tongue in cheek.
Oh, dude, it's great, and the updates. There's a couple updates a month usually, and they're fabulous. Everything just gets better and better and better. And the self-driving thing, dude, I'm telling you, I have no problem with it. And it tells you how long it has a streak. It'll tell you about you've been doing this for 26 straight miles, dude. We've been all over. Like you can drive to Chattanooga faster than you can get to Hendersonville sometimes. And with my son playing ball, like we were in the car for an hour and 40 minutes the other day. It drove us the whole way there, from the driveway all the way out, parked it, everything.
And you could summon it too, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's really cool. And the summon feature's gotten real good.
It still bakes my wife's. We have the self-park feature in her car. She's got a Mercedes GLS. And whenever it, you pull into a lot, it'll tell you, oh, you can enable this. And, you put it in there and you hit OK. And she gets so freaked out. She's like, I don't like you doing that. I'm like, just let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Done this a million times.
Yep.
Dude, you know how many times I sold cars because of that?
Oh, I bet.
I mean, I would drive off the lot, I had a pre-designed, I would do extended test drives. I would really give the customer experience.
Yeah.
Because I knew everybody else at the other dealerships weren't doing that.
Right.
Or it was very rare if they were. So my trick was I would drive us off the lot for insurance purposes and then come to a parking lot, let the car park itself, and it blew their flipping mind every time.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I had a guy one time that wanted to come in. This is back in 2014. So self-driving cars were really new.
Yep.
And the S-Class was one of the models that had that technology. And I had a customer coming in on a Friday evening, and I was like, he's like, he wants to see this particular feature. Mm-hmm. It was called Distronic. And I said, I've never used it. I don't know. And a buddy of mine, he's like, oh, let's grab one and take it out. I'll show you. So Friday afternoon during rush hour traffic, we're sitting in a $120,000 car, letting it drive itself. And I'm on, this is incredible, but completely and utterly irresponsible. And if we do something to this car, we're totally fired and on the hook to make it right. But,
Well, another one of my dream cars, speaking of Mercedes, is the G-Wagon. Should I?
I mean...
What's the catch with it? I've never driven one. I just think they're cool looking.
My dream is an S-Class that's the flagship.
Gotcha.
G-Wagon is common around here. I mean, S-Class, is it mean you're old? Because you see a lot of old people driving them.
Yeah.
But you get an S-Class that's like, you can make them look slick.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Yep.
That would be my jam. Or an SL.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. G-Wagon, there's plenty of G-Wagons.
I know Elite Customs out in Cool Springs, they do a lot of work for everybody. Mm-hmm. I asked him, he was like, we do a lot of G-Wagons. I was like, why is that? But he showed me some pictures. I was like, dang.
Well, I mean, that 179 deduction is why people get them.
Yep.
So,
yep.
6,000-pound vehicle.
Old Coach Bert rolled up to the studio one day in his G-Wagon, and it looked good too.
Yeah.
It looked good too.
I'm sure he's towing stuff. But, it's an image thing. Mercedes is one of the best cars on the road. They're tanks. Mm-hmm. My daughter's first car, I wanted to get her. We were going to get her a Lexus at one point, and then we ended up with a Nissan. But Mercedes is if you could swing that bat and get your kid a Mercedes, like an old C-Class or something like that, you're putting them into a tank. I mean, that's a safe car.
Facts. All right, I keep trying to work my way back. So I'm going to try one more time.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I did want to, as I've been fortunate enough, I'm one of the guys that are lowering the pay for voice work people.
Right.
I'm the dude that had no experience,
right.
that went out and auditioned and was able to snag a couple really good jobs. But dude, there is some there's an art to it. It's very technical. Mm-hmm. I'm fortunate to have a relationship with people that if I didn't have the relationships, I don't know if I'd still be doing it because I never record that stuff on my own. I'm always with them. I'm getting coached.
Yeah.
I've learned over 3 years since I've been doing it. I think I could do it on my own now, but there's no way in hell that I could have did it because, like, what I thought they would want wasn't even close,
Right.
and giving them the different versions and inflections and tones and going up versus going down and how you end something and all that kind of stuff. It's massively technical. And there's like, and for somebody that's been doing it for so long, like, one, where did you learn it all? And then, like, it's a pretty cool gig. And if you do it long enough and you get the right stuff, you can eat off of it.
Yeah.
And you did for a long time. How did you get so good at it, Jim? Like, who inspired you? Like, walk me through that, because, like, I'm looking for those people myself still right now, even.
Well, I mean, I grew up in radio,
Yeah.
being in the production department, literally getting 10,000 hours of experience and practice happened in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
But also asking the right questions. I didn't want to be a radio guy doing voiceover. There is a difference.
Yes.
Because a lot of people in radio do voiceover, but it's their personality. It's who they are, and they're doing it in a radio-esque way. They're sounding too announcery. I
did that in the beginning for sure.
Yeah.
I did exactly
Everybody
that.
does. Dude, I still do it.
Yeah.
I pick up a little nuances that I coach against that still come out. The biggest thing I asked my program director at the time, he says, you want to be someone who sounds like they know how to do voiceover, not a radio person doing voiceover.
Wow.
And that stuck with me. And so I listened. A lot of what we do in the arts is emulating, listening, and trying to emulate. We do it with drumming, we do it with guitar playing, and eventually you find your own voice. In voiceover, it's literally the same thing. So I listened to a lot of the demos that would come down from William Morris that would send to us on a quarterly basis. They would send you updated demos from some of these big voice guys because they were essentially pitching their clients for imaging work, and they wanted their clients to be the voice of the station. I listened to a lot of outtakes and B-roll, or not B-roll, but basically behind the scenes stuff of our voice guy at the time. His name was Doug Paul. He was a guy out of North Carolina. God rest his soul. Great guy. He was the first time I ever, you always heard his produced voice coming into the radio station. And then once I was into the radio station, you got to hear the behind the scenes reel to reel, because that's when they sent it on reel to reel back then. And the production guy would be putting the imaging together. But you'd hear this guy going, I-95, Brookfield, Denver, a big voice. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, you want me to take another take of that? You're like, that's actually a human being.
Yeah.
You forget that.
Yeah.
And then I got to talk to him on the phone a couple of times. Transitioned into Vegas. We had our voice guys for the talk stations. We had Sean Caldwell was the voice for KLUC. Great guy. And a lot of these things that these guys who achieved such high positions in the voiceover world were so approachable, so easy to talk to. So one of my good friends in Vegas, his name was Sam O'Neill. And he did documentary work. He did TLC, Discovery Channel at the time. He was on probably like 85 radio stations, probably like 55. And dude was raking it in. But lived in Vegas. We had lunch. We'd go get a beer. He'd come by. We'd shoot the breeze. Great dude.
Yeah.
He passed away in 2006. Gosh, this is what happens when you turn 50. All your friends die. But he was one of the things that he taught me a lot. A lot of the people, when you're coaching, you're getting coached by them. You're picking up little nuances.
Yeah.
When you coach other people,
Yeah.
and you hear how they are, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, I want you to do that more affirmatively. And you're like, affirmatively? Oh, that's an interesting concept. There's a passive and affirmative tone that most people instinctually delve into when they read copy.
Yeah.
So, the Hitstreak with Nick Hyder. You could say the Hitstreak with Nick Hyder. That's affirmative.
Yeah.
That's got confidence behind it. The other way, the tone is maybe, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a suggestive versus affirmative tones. And a lot of people have that suggestive tone when they read copy. So in my coaching sessions, that's one of the things I'm like, okay, let's identify these little nuances.
Yeah.
And then let's try that sentence one more time to make it more affirmative. So listening to these things over time and emulating, Zeus and, Sam O'Neill and all these people that I worked with, you start integrating that purposely because you're listening back. A lot of voiceover is read, record, listen back, and do that for the next 100,000 times.
Yeah.
And you'll be golden.
I'm always amazed. You know, I'm sitting there with Larry Witt, who's been a godsend for me with that stuff, and just the coolest guy. Mm-hmm. And like I'll read something, he'll be like, "You sounded this way," and I'm like, "I did sound that way, but I didn't mean to.
Right?
It just happened. It just came out that way." And it's like, and then I try it differently, and then I hear it. Playback for me is huge. So that's why I go back and listen to everything, because like I'm a fan of everything, and I'm influenced heavily by we all are. Yeah. I'm just aware of it. Right. So I want to hear it back because I'm always going at something. I'm always aiming at something that was, influenced by somebody or something that affected me in a certain way. And that's what I feel like I'm trying to get other people to do.
Well, it's funny because I've always had this propensity or something. Nick Cavuto, after you came in that day, he says, a lot of people aren't doing the things they know they need to do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. I said, one of those things is I know I should do a class for existing voiceover people and show them how to produce.
1,000%.
There's enough people doing coaching for voiceover, but a lot of them don't have an ear for production. I said, that helps you when you're auditioning because who's listening on the other end as a producer who's trying to figure out how do I make that fit into the context of what I'm producing?
Yeah.
Today I just did it. I did a voiceover for it'syourshow.co and I laid the voiceover down first. And I did it, at it'syourshow.co. This is something that we really like to do. And I did this really kind of low key. I don't know why it came out of me that way, but I'm like, I'm rendering a video. Let me listen to some music. I want to try a different music bed. So I found a music bed I really liked. And I'm going, let me see how it sounds over the voiceover. So I started playing the voiceover and it completely didn't match. And I'm going, okay, I got to recut this.
Yeah.
It needs more energy, but it's not because I really like that music bed.
Yep.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
So if you're voicing stuff with the producer in mind, oh my gosh, you're 85% of the way there. If you think of things, you know what, guys, let me try it this way. And that's, I think, my edge is when I do a voiceover, I give you an abundance of retakes, of pickups, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Hey, this kind of felt a little bit weird. Let me try that again. Mm-hmm. And you give them selections, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking like a producer at that point.
That's right. And give them the opportunity to have a choice.
Yeah.
Right. Another thing that was that was kind of new to me is one day Jensen was there with me. I believe we're with Larry and we're cut some Sirius XM stuff. And I'm telling Larry, I'm like, dude, I'm learning more and more about the evolution of satellite radio. I didn't. So he told me a great story. You may or may not know this, right? And but you probably did because you were in the middle of all that kind of radio when all this is happening. So. One, I forget that XM and Sirius were two entities that combined at some point in time. Yep. But what I didn't know is that the launch of Sirius was like the day before 9/11 or the day of. All right, so literally they've got this big, huge grand opening, like a ribbon cutting type thing. They're going to flip the switch. It's on for the first time. And literally 9/11 happened. I'm pretty sure it was the same day, if I'm remembering correct, Larry. You can correct me later when I see you. And they ended up delaying the launch of it for a while because of that. But so all these radio guys had quit their jobs to go launch satellite radio for the first time. And then 9/11 happened and it almost didn't happen. And I was just like, dude, that's a great, because I've been telling Larry, I want you or somebody from Sirius XM. The history of this, how it plays with the rest of it. There's so much that I feel like people should, as listeners, with the amount of listeners you got, it seems like we would want to tell those stories about how it started and how it became, because I'm always amazed at their workflow. Yeah. How, I'll be doing something, there'll be somebody on Zoom in LA and New York, and it's all like we're all in the room, and they're just seeing their back end and how it's 100% programmed. Right, none of it's hardly anything on any station is current. It's all been pre-recorded and it's imaged and it's all on purpose. Yeah, and I've just been blown away at the workflow on the back side of that. It's perfect. It's so beautiful, and it's massive at scale.
Yeah,
and it's been that's probably been the coolest thing for me about doing all that work with Sirius XM is seeing how all the information moves.
Yeah.
How all the files and the production meetings and everything else and how they go. And I've just been really fascinated with the business side of it and how it all plays out.
I'm cautious and probably somewhat cynical when it comes to my pontificating about the future even in that industry.
Yeah.
It's why should I pay you $10 a month?
Yeah.
And even when I buy a car and they send me, hey, you got 3 months free of XM, and then I can literally get on the phone and get you to give me the next 2 years for free. You know, I think a lot of their, I mean, I'd be curious to see where a majority of their revenue comes from. I can't imagine subscribers. You know, I think it's probably a lot of ad revenue. I mean, a lot of exclusive programming. I listened to XM radio back when Opie and Anthony went on.
Oh yeah,
XM.
Dang, I forgot about them.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, talk about a counterbalance to the Howard Stern. They were huge fans, and then got a taste of him in person, and yeah, they not fans after that. Let's just put it that way. But they got fired from WNEW, and we carried them at our station in Vegas. We all became fans because they were hilarious. And then they did one of their radio stunts went awry and got fired. And then they made their announcement they were coming back on XM. Smart move by XM.
Yep.
Because it was huge for them. And they were on a channel called The Virus.
Yep.
And you know, they used to make fun of Sirius, and they had that kind of rivalry going. And it was rocking and rolling. I was willing to pay the subscription fee.
Yeah.
But when the exclusivity goes away, I think, you know, Sirius XM right now, one of their biggest things they have going for them is Howard.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure what else they're doing. You know, I mean, you can listen to the local radio and get the same kind of product. You can put your own playlist together on Spotify. I mean, you know, what's the pivot, guys? Where's it going to go?
Are you ready to transform your business and unlock new revenue streams? At Processing First, we empower our partners with cutting-edge payment solutions and unparalleled support. By leveraging our extensive network of banking partners, we match you with the ideal bank to ensure that you receive the most competitive rates and deliver an exceptional experience for both you and your customers. Visit processingfirst.com to learn more and join our growing community of successful partners.
And so what I've recently found, and again, I should have known this the whole time, but when I got the Tesla, and then there's that big screen in the middle, the SiriusXM app is legit on that thing. So like, I didn't know about all the extra channels. So let's say I want to listen to Prime Country. Well, dude, there's like 8 to 10 extra Prime Country style channels on there. They're all awesome. Because I was a huge Pandora fan for a long time, which I found out SiriusXM acquired them, or they're part of their portfolio now. I liked Pandora because I could go like, I want Peter Cetera today, and it would be all this stuff that was just perfectly matched with Peter Cetera.
You got good taste in music.
Thank you. I love all that stuff. So I loved Pandora for that, but now SiriusXM is massive, and I would just say you have to build a relationship with it, like for real, because it's so big. I had it for 2 or 3 years, and I'd only explored maybe 15 to 20% of it.
Yeah.
And once I got into it, it's been like, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
I'd be curious. I mean, being a public company, do they have to publish their ratings in terms of listener, you know, like a radio station has Arbitron ratings, or now it's not Arbitron, but it's Nielsen. You know, they publish those to attract advertisers and, you know, position themselves in the market. But I don't know if SiriusXM, they have to do that.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because, I mean, they got to be measuring that stuff, you know.
Well, I get to hear when I'm working with Larry. I'll get to hear because I'm on to know. I'm like, hey man, who's all y'all's favorite voice guys and why? You know, what do they do? What do I? You know, what are the things that they know that I don't? I'm just intuitive and inquisitive about it. I want to know everything, and because I want to do a great job for them. You know, and I like it. And when I first started this podcast, I wanted it to eventually be on SiriusXM. That was the whole reason I started the podcast in the beginning was relationships, content, and I'm going to build a catalog and turn it into something that SiriusXM would want one day, right?
Well,
that was a dream of mine.
The new pinnacle is now Netflix.
That's right.
You want getting your podcasts on Netflix, now you know you got something.
That's right.
Because, I mean, all of a sudden, they got a whole podcast category.
That's right.
I'm like, when did this happen?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So it even makes people like, you know, a quick segue into the business side of what we do. It even makes people like you and me more valuable now because, again, podcast is such a vague word for such a large. It's got so many quality types, niche types. Like podcast, what does that actually even mean? Like, you know, because like you saw the first set that we had wasn't nothing like the gear that we're using today. It's a different product. It's totally different.
This is more of like a talk show. I mean, it's what you would see back in the day when news would set up interviews.
Yep.
The only thing you're not missing is like an over the shoulder. I mean, you kind of have the setup here.
Yep.
But that's essentially what it is.
Yep.
You're just repackaging the audio and making it interesting and putting it out there.
That's exactly right. But it's, when people come and say, it's like, I want to start a podcast, I'm like, well, what does that mean? Are you wanting 2 cell phones in your kitchen, or are you wanting like freaking, full-blown set design and is it a show, or is it like just, what is it? Mm-hmm. And that's probably the hardest part, is getting people to dial that part. At least it has been for me anyways. How do you help people cut through the noise on, like, just give them clarity on what it is that they want versus where it's going to go? Like how does it, like, I always feel like in business, anything you do is going to end one of 3 ways. You're going to sell it, go out of business, or die doing it. Mm-hmm. Right? So with this podcast, am I going to stop doing it? Am I going to sell it, or am I going to die doing it?
You'll figure it out in your 50s.
Oh man. Well, like, how do you, you've been launching good ones, and you've helped people get off the ground when they didn't have much, and they've turned it into great things and great and big time marketing pieces for their businesses. Like, how do you, when people come in, what's that conversation even look like?
Well, it's, what's your concept? What do you want to do? Is it a viable concept? What does the audience look like? Mm-hmm. I had no idea a wrestling podcast would be as big as it was.
Right.
Sometimes these things that surprise you. And then there are podcasts that you see get started. The Try That in a Small Town podcast is one of them that I saw those guys starting it. And I said, okay, I know you guys. We've been around each other in each other's orbit for the last decade or whatever, decade and a half. Now you're doing something that's in my backyard.
Yeah.
Let me help you. And I did actively reach out to them, and I said, let's talk. Let's see what you're doing. What are you being charged? Blah, blah, blah. We had all those conversations, and I came in as, a producer, but also like an executive producer / consultant, helping them dial in the formatics, be a little bit more structured.
Yeah, dude.
And now they kind of carry that forward with their show. And it's, okay, how do we grow this thing? And, helping people see that you're almost launching a business.
Yeah.
You pretty much are. If you're, again, another question is, why are you doing this?
Right.
Is it fun? Is it you want to play radio? Is it you believe that you're talking about something the world needs to hear? Mm-hmm. Do you want to monetize it? All those questions have to be fleshed out. Mm-hmm. If you're doing it for fun and joy, awesome. Mm-hmm. We got all the time in the world.
Yep.
Let's focus that. Let's see what we can really make of it. Let's see if we can make a little money for it. I said, but there are 2 guarantees. Your episodes will come out, and you will be billed for the production.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the guarantees I can give you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautifully said, by the way.
That's it.
Dude. Well, and that's a killer podcast. I was like, you're so good at. Look at the music business. I would say that you're head over heels. There's no question that when it comes to music style stuff like that, you're really good at it.
Thank you.
That's your bread and butter. And I listen to all of them, by the way.
Again, I like to, on my podcast, getting back to the Middle Tennessee, it's a business podcast, but ultimately it's my stamp on life at that particular moment for my kids, for their kids. I'm actually presenting tomorrow at my B&I chapter. And one of the biggest things I sell is remembrance and legacy. Everything that you're doing right now is going to be recorded for history. As long as there's an internet, your kids, your grandkids will be able to, look at you at this particular point in life. And one of the things I like to do on my podcast is be really transparent.
Yeah.
If we're having a challenging time in business, which the last couple of years have been very challenging, I am completely transparent about it. Guys, it's not fun. Mm-hmm. If you're listening to this, your dad's not having a good time right now. Yeah. He's not been living his best life.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is what happens in life. Because it goes back to my father around when he was around my age, 1990, 91, we had a recession. He had to consolidate the business that was rocking and rolling throughout the roaring 80s into just, he had to get back on ladders again at the age of 50, 51 years old. And, I remember him distinctly just sitting on the edge of his bed talking to my mom, just going, I need help. You know, talking about, you see your father in that position, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is scary. I was 15. And, sitting on the top of a ladder, we're building out an office space in the bottom of our house because we're bringing everything in, and I looked down and I said, hey, why don't we order a pizza for lunch? And he looked up at me and he said, we can't. Okay. Well, why? Well, we can't afford it. It's $20.
Yeah.
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 Really? Yeah. Okay. I'll never forget that. You know, and then you go through those times in life. We all go through them.
Yeah.
Whether or not we like to talk about them or not is one thing. But I think we all need to start getting better at talk about your weaknesses, talk about what where the challenges lie. You know, it may look like we're having a good time and the veneer looks another way, but once you shatter that veneer, and the next generation will be able to pick up on that. They're going to identify it. If you're being a phony, they're going to know it.
You're right.
That's why I put those things out there. It's a generational legacy piece for me. Sure, we talk about business, but we talk about life. Whatever comes up, you know, that's the important stuff.
Well, I got to say, you mentioned your BNI. They're extremely hit or miss. You're in the one that hits. I credit your podcast as the reason that it is as big as it is, bro.
Maybe.
There's no way. There's no question.
I appreciate that. I mean, it's we have a lot of the people on from.
I know you do. Yeah, and it's killer. And I hope they understand what they get with that.
I think they do. I think they know who really runs that meeting. I'm joking. Yeah. I kid.
I do. I think every networking group, every BNI, anything like that, they all need some. I mean, why wouldn't they want a podcast to be able to feature all that stuff, all their clients and coming in? It's a huge value proposition.
Oh yeah.
When they do that, and I'm sure they know the gift they got when they got you and that you do that. Like, because most of the people that sit in your seat in other groups, they're not doing that. None of them are. They should be.
I have the kind of double impact. I'm also part of I'm the head of the AV team.
Yeah.
We have a whole AV team for
awesome.
Video and speakers and music and all the things. We have a roadcaster sitting there on the desk.
I'm telling you, y'all are doing it.
Yeah.
Y'all are doing it better than everybody else.
You should visit.
Absolutely. I'd come out there all day long. I love it, man. I think, hell, Connect Nashville is huge here, right?
Yeah. Those guys have freaking crushed that.
Do a great job.
Gosh.
They need a podcast. They need to call you, and they need a podcast to feature their clients. And it can be, you can work your way up through. It's pay to play. There's a million ways that it can make sense.
Yeah.
But they need to call you for that, because what you've done with your BNI group, I'm telling you, I haven't been there. I'd love to come, but I would say that if without that podcast, it's not even close to what it is today.
Well, thank you. What is your Mount Rushmore of podcast guests? Who would you like to have?
That's such a good question. We were talking about that the other day with episode 250 coming up, making a big stink about it. So obviously, so who would I want on there? Mount Rushmore of who? So obviously I got Michael Jordan up on the wall up there. That's a big one. Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Yep. Derek Jeter. I would any sitting president. Any sitting president would be an honor and a pleasure to do that, just out of respect for the office and just to, that person lives a life that nobody else could truly ever understand unless you do it.
Yeah.
And I just have so many questions, so many questions. So any sitting president or living president, I should say.
Yeah.
Any president, Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter. Man, I've been on a huge Ray Lewis kick right now. His motivational stuff, like his keynote speeches. I would never saw that from him. That's a big deal. Who else? Let me think. So, I'm a huge Tim Corbin fan. Vanderbilt baseball coach.
Oh yeah, okay.
Huge Tim Corbin. He's been a guest on the Hitstreak.
I was going to say, yeah.
But he's still on the Mount Rushmore just because of the person that he is and how he does. Who in entertainment is Jim Carrey is probably on my Mount Rushmore just because I was such a fan of his.
Yeah.
As a kid. Any of the music people that we've mentioned today, they're on it. So my Mount Rushmore is like a plateau of it's this huge long mountain. It's the Rockies.
Yeah.
And there's a face all the way across. There's probably 100 names on there, I guess.
That's
what about you?
I had Dennis Quaid on the list for a while. I know he's local. He lives here. I reached out to the Obama's administration at one point. I'm like, why not? You never know when you ask.
No, you don't. That's exactly right.
Yeah. I had Ivan Meisner on. He's the founder of BNI. He came up with the whole concept. He's a legitimate billionaire. worldwide organization. I mean, it took him 30, 40 years to build it, but I mean, he's done well for himself.
Yeah.
But he is, I saw him on LinkedIn. I was literally sitting in a meeting. I was in Williamson County at the time. We were at a different place. And I was on LinkedIn, and I just shot him in a direct message. I said, hey, I'm in your Williamson County chapter here in Tennessee. It's one of the more premier chapters. I do a podcast. Love to have you on. Send. You know how many times I've done that with, you get crickets back? 5 minutes, May. He's a color me cooperative. When do you want to do this? All right, cool.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Judge, being a big baseball guy, and he's just he's larger than life. I could go. I mean, literally, I just love people so much, and especially the ones that have just when I got a taste of what baseball's like at the highest level, and it's different. Nobody understands it unless you experience it, and that when you do something, when you get that moment, when you get that cup of coffee at that highest level of something as big as Major League Baseball or something like that, when you see it at the highest level, your perspective is just so different, and it just instead of looking, I look up at these people for a different reason than the average person would.
Yeah.
So like with Aaron Judge, it's understanding how polished that guy is, and how he's the perfect captain for a franchise like the Yankees, because he can be going 0 for 20 and he's still out there interacting with fans. He's still out there playing great defense. He's still out there. He's leading his team, regardless of the fact that he could be in there throwing helmets and making an ass out of himself. And
right.
and the way that he handles press and the way that he covers, not covers, but the way that he talks about his team, the way he defends his coaches, he gets it.
Yeah.
He just gets it. And he's polished.
Mm-hmm.
And the polish factor with people at the top is what I'm enamored with.
I'd be curious, it's funny, whenever I have somebody of note and I'm not aware of how big of a note they carry, the real conversations happen.
Yep.
Because you're not intimidated.
Yep.
There is an intimidation factor sometimes with these people when you get them on.
That's right.
I've kind of, that's the other thing about going into your 50s, your give a damn gets really busted.
Yeah.
And you stop, dude, sure, I'll ask Trace Adkins, dude, do you like the Backstreet Boys?
Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure band?
Yeah.
People have no idea that, it's kind of a relatively safe question, aside from so how much money did you make over time?
Yeah.
Those are the questions I don't have the chutzpah to really get into, getting into financial questions. But if anybody actually makes a claim, I'll push in.
Sure.
I've made some. Oh, how much money have you made?
Yeah.
You open the door. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And those are the kind of questions that I think Stern was really, he would probably be, if I could interview somebody, it would be him. He would be intimidating. Vaynerchuk would be intimidating.
Yeah, Stern's definitely on my list too. Yep.
Yeah. Our good friend Brad Lee at one point was intimidating, but once you become familiar with him, he gets less intimidating.
That's right.
But he's a formidable character. He's got a personality that's the size of Mount Everest.
Yes.
So he's, but once you kind of get to know the guy, what you see is what you get.
That's right. That's right.
Especially when it comes to the Yeshua conversation.
Yes.
I've been wanting him to I'm like, dude, I tell my business partner who wears the Bible like it's an organ, I said, you two just need to have an episode where you talk for 20 minutes about that.
Yeah.
And it would be fireworks because John would push back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Finding the right health plan can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Backed by over 12 years of experience and more than 20 national and local awards, Team Hyder is here to help you navigate your options and choose a plan that fits your family's needs and your budget. Visit teamhyder.com today to schedule your consultation and get the coverage that you deserve.
Dude, Brad is, I was a little bit, I remember the first time I met him I'd had a phone call with him, but I was in Las Vegas to go be on the show. And I remember we're just sitting in this conference room and he had ordered lunch. And, I'm just polite. So I wasn't walking in there trying to take everything over. I speak when I'm spoken to.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was not the right move at that time, that I was brought in there to speak.
Yeah.
But I'm just sitting there just doing what I do. And I remember we're sitting there eating lunch and he looks at me and he goes, "You're not going to be one of those guests that doesn't say anything the whole episode, are you? and I was like, and I remember thinking, oh shit, like, no, I'm not at all. You know what I mean? But that made it worse. That made me nervous. And that was literally the first podcast I'd ever gone on. And that was a pretty big one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'd never done one before. That was the very first one.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to expect. You know, I'd seen, it was a lot like radio, and he carried most of that conversation.
Yeah, sometimes he'll get people where you could pull the string and off they go. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you gotta push a mule.
Yep.
With Brad, yeah, he's an opinionated guy.
Yep.
You know, I get myself into those rhythms.
Sure.
Where I have somebody on and all of a sudden I'm just off to the races and I'm like, I just need to shut up.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about me.
Yep.
It's about you.
Yep.
But you know, he has a lot of good quality ideas.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He is brilliant. And I put it this way, the more I'm very fortunate to get to spend time with him in the business world. And man, and personally too, I get better from being around that guy in both in the personal and in the business sectors. One, when it comes to business, he moves faster than anybody I've ever met. He solves problems faster than anybody I've ever met. I get to be a part of where I get to hear him speak to his executives, his staff, hearing how he positions things. Dude, I've learned as much. When we were knee deep in health insurance in just prior to COVID and going through COVID, I used his YouTube channel to train our insurance agents because it was such good content on sales. I had never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
And he was just really good at it, and he was funny.
Yeah.
He tells I keep it on my phone. His beard was brown. This is how long ago it was. But he was telling this story about you don't drop a deuce at other people's houses, and he went on and on and on about it. This big, long, elaborate story with the big punchline at the end. It's a 2.5-minute video, and I still watch it. Like, it still makes me chuckle every single. I'll send it to
actually pooping in other people's houses.
Yeah, like so.
Literally.
He's like, you just do that, and he's like, and the worst thing that can happen, you know, is when you do that and you hit that flush, and the water ain't going down, it's coming up. You know? and he was like, so what do you do? Yeah, he's like, and you look around, and there is no plunge. And he's like, so you look for a window. And you disappear. But if there's no window,
Brad,
then what do you do?
You look for the water valve, which is typically below the tank, and you shut the water valve off. That's what you do. Well, I've been there, and I'm like, water valve.
Yeah, dude. Well, he did something. He told at the end of it, he was like, what you do is, he's like, you're at this party, and he's like, and you walk out and you slam the door in the bathroom. He's like, but you don't take your hand off the doorknob. You have to leave your hand on the doorknob. He's like, hey, where's the host? Who's the host? Listen, man, there's a problem in there. And so, because he was like, if you walk out there, everybody's like, did you do that deuce?
That was the person before me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So he says, he's like, he took the approach of you have to be the person that found it and is notifying the host and doing the due diligence and the kindness of your heart to let them know there's a problem in there.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Just his delivery of the whole thing is spectacular.
I have 2 words, shit island, okay? It's coming out of the water. It's like a volcano. That's, you know, oh gosh. Yeah, I have a story similar to that. I don't know if I should tell. Well, why not? I sold rainbow vacuums once upon a time when I was 19 years old. And I was very lactose intolerant for some reason at the time. And I'm a huge fan of milkshakes. So I went and got a Carvel milkshake, Connecticut Northeast thing, before I had a demo for rainbow vacuums. And part of the demonstration was, you know, comparing their vacuum to the rainbow, and you could put little scents in the water and stuff like that. So they had eucalyptus, which is a very strong scent. And as soon as I got to their house, all of a sudden my stomach started talking to me. Like, and, you know, you're bending over and, you know, rigorous movements into the carpet, which is stirring things up quite nicely. And at one point, I just had to let one rip. So let me just turn the vacuum on. And as I leaned forward, everything came out. And it was, you could smell the heat. Okay. It was awful. And I'm like, oh, you guys smell that? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's your carpet. You know, I felt like I was in a freaking episode of Impractical Jokers. Yeah. You know, and trying to sell them on the notion that their carpet smelled like freaking somebody, you know, crapped on their freaking floor. And I'm like, but the good thing is you can put the eucalyptus in there and it smells nice and everything. And as soon as I finished with that portion of it, I said, here's what I'm going to do. I did the puppy dog close. I'm going to leave this with you. and I'm going to come back tomorrow and get it, and maybe we'll finish up and talk more about it. Cool? Great. And within 2 minutes, I was out of there.
Absolutely.
Beelining for my house and for a Dumb and Dumber moment, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know how do we get on this, but that was
the beautiful world of
toilet humor.
Toilet humor. Hey man, there's no that's what I'm saying. This is not programmed at all.
Right.
It's authentic.
This is gonna be one of those extended clips.
That's
Jim's
right.
story of when he tried to sell a rainbow vacuum and he freaking dropped. He freaking crop dusted somebody's living room.
And now for a moment for our sponsors of Carvel.
Go to Carvel. Try Fudgy the Whale.
Oh man. Well, Jim, as we get to the end of this sucker, like there's 30 years in what you've been doing. You've reinvented yourself over and over again. You've maintained relevant and at the forefront. Like I say, you're literally working with some of the biggest the biggest names in entertainment, biggest names in business. You're the guy that they call. Literally, we're over at Brad's house over at Christmas time having meetings, and you were in there helping him fix a Zoom setup. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, like you're one of those folks that gets to walk through places, and the average person don't know who they are, but everybody that matters knows who you are.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm completely not aware of that, but that's
it's a badge of honor.
Thank you.
It's truly a badge of honor because they keep calling, don't they?
They do.
They keep
calling. You stay within proximity.
Well, dude, what you're doing with the stuff, and especially with podcasting, really finding a voice in the music business for the artists and everything else. That plus obviously the what you're able to do on a production level that's at their level, right? That's the biggest thing is you can create a product that's at their level,
right?
And a lot of folks just can't because they've never been there before.
Well, thank you.
Right, so
I appreciate that.
That's a huge deal, man, and I think that's a big sweet spot for you when you do that. And then and obviously, I mean, what you've done for Marcus Manise and Stronger Than My Father, and how you helped him out and given that guy a voice. Look what he's done with all that impact that he's made with all the help you gave him.
We're trying to get him relaunched as well.
He needs it.
Yeah.
He needs it bad.
Yeah, there's strategies he could be deploying that will really get him some attention.
Absolutely, and it's all timing, and he needed staff to do other things at the time. Like I get it, it's a part of growth.
Yep.
When you're working on those things, but man, I don't know, man. There's every time I meet you, you've reinvented yourself in a new way, and got your hands in something else. You're at the pulse of innovation, dude. The heartbeat of innovation. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's anytime I get to hang with you or do anything, it's always a freaking good time.
I feel better about myself already. Need to hang out with you more.
Let's go.
I appreciate that.
Well, all right. So real talk.
Yeah.
What do you think? We've done a lot with the place. What do you think?
It's gorgeous. Looks really good.
Remember that was the big screen behind me, and I remember when Antoine we were talking about all this. I was like, dude, nobody has a vertical screen. I want a vertical screen.
There you go.
And I actually had I had a virtual. What we're doing with virtual interviews now has gotten its next level because they're on the screen and I'm talking to them there,
right?
Which is really cool. We just started doing that. That was
nice.
That was really neat.
Yeah, you kind of every now and then you got to do the virtuals. I really prefer not doing them. But.
Me too. And you can only do it if the person's big enough that that on their end it's going to look good, sound good.
Not only that, it's like big enough indeed, and they're going to call the shots.
That's right.
Rogan's not doing virtuals.
Nope, that's
you
right.
Go to him.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So
that's exactly right. Well, dude, what is there anything else as we're getting to the end of this thing? What did I miss? Like final thoughts, final word. I had a couple things because if Nick Hyder was going to do a segment on the Hitstreak, you're the king of segments. Like you can fly through them. They're fantastic. We did one that had music on the first time I was on your show. It had music. You hit a button and music played.
We did that. That was the dad joke thing that we did. That was a trade. That was a strategic thing that we did with the guy who at the time was heading up Trade Bank in Nashville. And he was a big dad joke guy, Ed Fox, great guy.
Yeah.
He basically talked about dad jokes all the time. He could whip one out, and it would be something you'd never heard before at any given moment. So I did the dad joke challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. And it rolled. It was quick. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was cool too because I wasn't prepared at all. And it was fun. It was such a fun time. If I was prepared, it would have been good. It would have been rehearsed. And
I think, if I were to come up with a segment, sponsorable or otherwise.
What could I do fun,
I think tap out's always a fun option.
Okay.
increasingly risky questions. And your guest has to, I'm not answering that, I'm tapping out.
Oh, Jensen, what do you think?
And then you basically at some point,
Look, Jen's like, hell yeah.
and that it's a radio station thing. Morning shows did it with a lot of, I know KLUC's The Morning Zoo with Chet Buchanan. They did that game with certain celebrities that would come in just to see, let's see what we get. How far can we push you?
Yeah.
And it's all about keeping the audience in mind. And that's an entertainment notion. You could build conversations off of that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole podcast could be about whatever they didn't want to talk about. Okay, let's dance around the edges of that a little bit, and let's see what we can get out of you.
Heck yeah, man.
Because it's all about getting the scoop.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, dude. I love that.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing that.
Well,
we're gonna
as
be
well.
doing that. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Jim, any final thoughts, plugs, or?
Nothing that really comes to mind. I mean, other than the fact that, we're both kind of in the same realm of stuff. I mean, I'll champion you, you champion me, and we'll keep moving forward, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, dude, this town needs a lot more of Jim McCarthy. That's for damn sure.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And, again, like I your biggest and best days are still ahead of you. Like you're still because again, every time I turn around, you've reinvented yourself in something else. But whether you're on the mic or on the camera or behind them, it's pure excellence, dude.
Thank you.
It really is. It really is. So I'm a fan if you can't tell.
Well, I appreciate that. Likewise. Again.
I'm a big fan, man. So, well, dude, I look forward to doing more stuff with you. Again, it's an open invitation, brother. Anytime you want to come hang and chop it up, or you got something you want, anything.
We should do like a state of the industry type of episode with all the different content creators around Nashville.
Absolutely. And you're a great person for a panel, to host a panel or anything else, especially with all the folks that you got. The panels have been really good here. We've been doing hosting a lot of panels for folks where they come in and they're going to ask, get some people on Zoom or on virtual, and some are in person and whatnot. But the panels seem to be really capturing a lot of buzz. It feels like a live event, but it's not. You get the same kind of feedback from it.
Oh, yeah.
You would kill it at those.
I'm more than happy to be a part of them.
You would kill it at those. Well, what you're doing with Rich and all the boys, there's something big there. I hope you lean into that more, because I'm a big fan of it.
Just takes time and persistence.
Yeah, man. And I know Rich's last time he was in here, he was talking about, how much longer. Jason's caught like a third wind with what they're going to. They were talking about peeling back.
Yeah.
And now it seems like he's bigger than ever.
Well, I mean, I think there was a bit of a reinvention and stepping out of sorts of, obviously aligning with the president and everything and what he does. It's paying off for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be doing what he's doing.
Right.
He's got plenty of FU money from what I.
That's right. That's right. And it's just cool seeing Rich. They did a thing at Christmas time where Jason came and sang, and he takes his band with him everywhere, even if it's acoustic, which is so cool.
He's got tremendous loyalty.
And Rich was playing. He didn't know I was there, so I snuck backstage and I ran up like paparazzi with my phone, and he did it. I was like, "Oh, Nick,
hey, buddy!"
Yeah, gave him a hug. I just love him.
Have you talked to Jason before, or sat and had a conversation with him at all?
Yeah.
Great guy.
Absolutely.
Dude's a salesman.
He's damn good.
He's a salesman.
He's great singer, great musician, all those things. But yeah, man, he's smart. That business acumen is legit.
He makes you feel like you've known him for a long time.
Especially and the stuff he does with the Sentinel Foundation and the event they do, it's spectacular. It's spectacular, and you really get a feel for them and what they're doing. He's awesome, man.
Yep.
DJ Silver is a big buddy of mine that's been with him since 2013.
Yep.
He's got the same crew this whole time. It's rare.
We had the backstage experience back in September up in Michigan. My brother's up there, and whenever they play in town, like the guys in the small town, but like, how come you weren't there? I'm like, because it's a Nashville gig. Everybody and their mother's going to be there, and I don't want to put any other pressure on. Like, oh, now we got to get gym tickets. No, dude, I'm going to go to the one in Michigan, so you don't have to worry about all that stuff.
That's right.
And we can hang out and have a good time.
So you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, obviously, it'syourshow.co, jmvos.com, on Instagram at Jim McCarthy Voss, and the it'syourshow.co on socials. Anywhere else you'd want to send everybody to find you, check out what's going on?
That's pretty much, yeah. I mean, you kind of ticked all the boxes.
Well, it's all on the show notes as well. So The Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast is spectacular. Especially all those folks in other markets, they ought to call you and figure out how you did that, and they need to be having one in the Mostly Middle Atlanta podcast and all that kind of stuff, don't they? I'm telling you, dude.
Sure.
It's the new BNI. It's the new BNI. It's a tool. Every BNI needs it. I'm telling you. They just need to throw Jim a little retainer.
Absolutely.
To help him get it off the ground.
I'm a big fan of that. Retainers work.
Absolutely, man. Well, dude, thanks for hanging, brother. I'm serious. It's always a good time. So, folks, when you go back and check out some of those early episodes of the Hit Streak, when we were doing the big intro, that's I think after episode like 50 or so is when we got it done professionally. You were kind enough to do that for us.
Oh, yeah, it's my pleasure.
So before that, it was me, and it wasn't very good.
Yeah, you shouldn't do like your own voiceover for your own podcast. It's just weird.
It was, and I hated it the whole time.
But I did the same thing.
I hated it the whole time, but I was dreaming a little bit, and in my mind, I was like, I'm playing radio. I was playing radio.
Yeah,
I was playing radio. So.
I had a buddy of mine do mine.
Okay.
He's got a podcast called the Mostly Marketing Podcast, and I pretty much ripped off the Mostly moniker from him. But now he's got a podcast called Mostly Grief. Let's bring everybody down now.
That's right.
So he talks about his wife died in 2022, and he does a podcast about how to process and deal with grief.
Oh, that's pretty powerful.
Dude's getting some numbers.
Yeah.
Talk about a topic that resonates.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, and again, keeping the memory of his wife alive and everything else. Like, that's what a cool thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's no doubt about it, folks. Look, when it comes time to launch a show, you got to give old Jim a call, don't they?
That's or yourself.
I got to give him. I got to give him a call. Figure out, because there's a lot you need to figure out. It's a lot more than you think when you launch that sucker.
We should collaborate for sure.
Absolutely. Well, once again, the man himself, Big Jim McCarthy, as we call him, just because the voice is larger than life, man. And you've heard him forever, and you're going to continue to do so, man. So, Jim, appreciate you, baby.
Somebody.
There we got it. Folks, once again, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Hit Streak. I'm your man, Nick Hyder. God bless. Hi, folks. I'm your man, Nick Hyder, and I just want to say a quick thank you for all of you, the millions of you tuning into the Hit Streak. We're literally getting the information from the people that have it to the people that need it by bringing on guests that everybody knows and some that not everybody knows yet. Keep listening, keep sharing, and keep leveling up with the Hit Streak.